Hello, my name is Thomas. Welcome to British Culture, Albion Never Dies. Today I am talking about my clothes because quite a few people have messaged me asking me to talk about tailoring and tailoring advice. So rather than set out rules or give advice for what you should have in your wardrobe, which of course will depend on you and your style and your personal preferences and where you live, I just thought I'd talk about my journey through clothes. So I'm starting off by wearing this navy tweed jacket, which is the oldest jacket that I own, that I still wear day to day. I bought this in Bradford from a discount store when I was an undergraduate because I just come to the UK. I'd spent 7 years in Turkish Cyprus, which is relevant. It's hot in the Mediterranean. I just wore t-shirts, cut-off jeans as a teenager. I wore pretty basic style, and growing up in the UK as a child, most of my clothes I think were hand-me-downs really. I've got two older brothers, so it's only natural that I should be wearing their clothes. All good quality stuff, I never had a problem with that. Always good to have something relatively classic. Otherwise, if it had been very fashion forward when it was bought, then in the 80s I'd be wearing 70s clothing, in the 90s I'd be wearing 80s clothing, and so on. So I was always, I think, drawn to something relatively classic. So I saw this in a discount store as an undergraduate and thought, yep, pretty standard jacket. Always looked good, will probably always look good, and decades later I'm still wearing it. A decade and a half maybe. So this is the oldest jacket that I own, my style being very much influenced by what's going to last and what's good quality. This is probably the oldest tailored jacket that I have, a nice three-piece suit that was made for me in Oman. So my parents moved out to Oman, no big shocks there. I come from a relatively well-travelled family. My father was born in Kuala Lumpur, grandfather born in India. I of course lived in Turkish Cyprus. Used to travelling, so when they went out there for work, I went out. I often visit them, and I think this was just made on a visit. Being a young man, I was pretty interested in just a black suit of some kind. My parents kind of suggested not, because black in the UK is really just for funerals. I was young, didn't know that. I still wanted a really dark suit. Now, may have been influenced by Pierce Brosnan's three-piece suit in The World Is Not Enough, just in the general concept, but I know now that that was kind of a pinstripe suit. It's got all kinds of details that I really wasn't interested in. It was more just the outline. He's a great suit wearer, almost an ambassador for suits. So, general concept, but more shaped by just, I wanted a dark suit. I thought a three-piece would look good, and why not? Why not? So this was made for me in Oman by an Indian tailor. I really liked this. Actually, the next suit influence on me was actually Kingsman. I really liked the double-breasted suits in Kingsman. So for my 30th birthday, I actually asked the tailor to make me kind of a double-breasted Kingsman-style suit. I chose the fabric there, just as I chose the fabric for this, took it along to the tailor shop, but actually the tailor there wasn't having any of it. I tried to kind of start to explain what I wanted, and he was like, no, I know what's going to work for you. So he made what he liked from the fabric that I chose. The result is something I was very happy with. So this is the suit that I had made for my 30th birthday, double-breasted, but just with one to button, and it gives it a kind of a lower stance. I'm told now that it's more of a European style. It's a relatively lightweight jacket, but I've found that I wear it quite a lot, and perhaps suits my figure a bit more than the kind of the boxy shape of the traditional English double-breasted jacket. One thing I haven't mentioned as an influence on my style is that as an undergraduate, I did 3 years with the University Royal Naval Unit. Again, this is the time when I was just starting to buy clothes, so I was kind of influenced by what you could wear on a naval base because, well, I had a limited wardrobe, so anything I couldn't wear there was kind of redundant, so it had to be good for all purposes, and that generally just meant a collared shirt, something that could take a tie, some smart trousers, even just chinos is okay, certainly not jeans, not a t-shirt, so a jacket, chinos, shirt, tie, what's known as dog robbers, but I did kind of like a full suit. So again, I think I was wearing this at the time when I was a university student, but I really liked this as a double-breasted jacket, and that would be the last tailored suit that I'd have for quite a long time. I then start working in Saudi Arabia, in Oman, I teach at the University of Bradford, and then get poached to go to China. So it was really in China that I started to get what is the main body of my current tailored wardrobe. This is the first suit that was made for me by my tailor in China, and for that I was, on a starting pay grade. I was doing okay. It's a good starting pay grade, but still limited finance. So I went with a friend to a commercial centre where there were lots and lots of tailors. Quite a few of them were trying to drag us into their shops and, to be honest, kind of harassing us, and we were getting tired of it. And eventually we went to a shop where we kind of just take refuge. The tailor there she was okay. She was just like, if you want to take a seat, look through fabrics, you can, but she had her own stuff going on. And she was someone who obviously had enough repeat customers that she really didn't need to go out and grab anyone. So we got talking to her. I actually spent quite a while thinking about this one. And I was looking at all kinds of suit models. Again, I thought I'd look at James Bond just so I could show a picture of kind of generally what I wanted. So the last time I was looking at Pierce Brosnan, The World Is Not Enough. This one was kind of based on the suits in Quantum of Solace, but just again as a general idea. In fact, I found the blog site bondsuits.com by Matt Spacer, and I started looking through it again at the Quantum of Solace suits. I saw a cream suit that was never actually used in the film. I was initially interested in that, but again the tailor was like, no, I don't think cream would work very well because you'll be travelling on the metro, you'll be at work, you'll get marks really easily. It encouraged me towards this colour, and I was actually really, again, impressed that she was willing to push back on some of my ideas, and I've always been very, very happy with this jacket, and actually became my model for many future jackets with her. So this is actually another jacket that she made for me using the same kind of general model. It's 2 buttons and, well, the same overall shape. This was kind of based on the jacket worn by Roger Moore in The Man with the Golden Gun. He wears a check jacket at the end, and they had some fabrics that were fairly close to what he wore, but again, just the overall concept I was really interested in. And this I really like just to have as an odd jacket, so to pair with charcoal trousers. I realise they're not being shown in this video, but I really like the idea of just having a kind of a casual sports jacket, as they call it. And so yeah, this was kind of the next round as I started to go for patterns, which, as you might have noticed, most of my jackets before were very, very plain, fairly classic, but I just thought a nice kind of subtle pattern would make a change. This is a jacket that I wanted for a very, very long time. It's really just based on the one that Pierce Brosnan wears in Tomorrow Never Dies in the Hamburg scenes. Probably my favourite scene in probably my favourite Bond film, at least since 1990. It's very unusual because this is really just copied from, at least in terms of the details. Again, by this point I trusted my tailor enough to change the overall shape to how she does it, but in terms of having a ticket pocket, having 3 buttons, the charcoal colour I think was a good match. So this is one that I actually wear quite a lot now. Again, I made it some time ago, or had it made some time ago, but it's classic enough that it's lasted me for years and years and years, and I hope will last me in years to come. This is another suit made by my tailor in China, Ada in Shenzhen. It's kind of inspired by the Sean Connery 3-piece suit in Goldfinger, being kind of mid-grey, 3-piece, some of the details such as the lapel on the waistcoat, which I really liked. But again, it's inspired little details. So his suit in the film is a check. This has kind of a texture to the fabric, but it's not a check. It's more that I just saw a fabric, I saw a way that she did it and said, can you do that with lapels, add a ticket pocket and so on. And there was a bit of a conversation going on. So I worked with the tailor. I always take her advice, and I've been very, very pleased with the result. In fact, this was the suit that I wore when I introduced my now wife to my parents. So a very meaningful suit to me. Most of the suits that I've been wearing, I've been talking about maybe I saw some inspiration, but I worked with a tailor and got some differences, maybe something from her style, my style, and then whatever the inspiration was, usually James Bond. He's a good model for suits, but this is an unusual one. This is one where I really, really wanted a very exact copy. So this is based on the suit that Daniel Craig wears in Quantum of Solace, even down to the number of buttons here, ticket pocket and so on. I know that in the film he has a redundant button here. That's actually something I don't like. It's just not necessary. It looks like a 2-button suit, so just make it a 2-button suit. So apart from that, it is actually a pretty close copy of the one. I actually wrote about this from Tailors with Love, so I've put the link to that article below. But I was very, very pleased with this. Again, this is pretty close The next one, again, is very much one that's inspired. This suit was inspired by the check suit that we see Daniel Craig wear in No Time to Die, but as you might notice, there are significant differences. And this is one where I just showed my tailor Ada in Shenzhen the photo of Daniel Craig there. I think the film was still being made when I showed it to her, and she liked it. I had some ideas of her own, and I can still remember I put this suit on and she just looked at it and said, I think mine is better than the picture. And I agree, this suits me better. Of course, what Daniel Craig wears suits him very, very well, which is part of why I didn't want to get into kind of rules for clothing, because different things suit different people. I am much more comfortable with this more classic fit, and I've worn this a huge amount just traveling out and about. So I'm very pleased with this one, again, especially because it's inspired by, not copied from, even though I did see it and thought, oh, I should have one of those. And finally, I just thought I'd show one more jacket. This is one I bought relatively recently. I was in Pontefract having a look at Pontefract cakes, and I walked past an antique store and they had this, half price, as nobody else had the right shape. So I was lucky, it fit me, I was able to get it for a good price. And again, I'm back to the discount stores. I'm very happy with its classic design. It is an older jacket, but it's been well kept. So I do like to get a good quality jacket because it can last and last. Who knows, maybe this jacket is older than me, but it's a design I very much like, and I think it will last me well into the future. In fact, I've been wearing it in the winters here quite a lot. So those are my top 10 suits. If you have any questions, please do put the questions in the comment section below. This is one of the smaller channels. I'll be able to get back to most of the questions there. And it was just a quick run through, I guess, my top 10 jackets that I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed it. This was by request. And again, if you have any other requests, well, you know how to contact me. Thank you very much for watching.